Hello, welcome to another video. It's Monday the 18th of March. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be top dressing, we're going to be scarifying, we're going to be cutting, a whole host of things. So join me next and I'll show you how we're going to do it. Okay, so we're back at the triangle job. If you remember, last time we were here on the 7th of Feb, we gave it a cut, we gave it an application of Inhibit Liquid, Weed Killer and Dance Winter Magic. Well, we're back today, 3 weeks later, we're cutting the lawn. We'll put in our spring fertiliser on, Rise and Shine, and after that we're going on with our drainage in a bag, which is going to start to dry the lawn out, ready for a couple of weeks later. So join us in a few weeks to see the results. So as you've just seen in the video there, all the work we've done has now paid off. It's 3 weeks nearly since I came. The weather was just too bad last week, so I couldn't come. So the Rise and Shine drainage in a bag, it's kicked in, it's really dry. What happens is the drainage in a bag, what it does, it goes in and by dissociation breaks down clay by making them into bigger particles, takes the finer particles and binds them together to make bigger particles, so the drainage is better. And get this, because we're going in, creating micropores, it's also a form of aeration, so we don't even need to aerate anymore. Not that we did, but this just takes that out of the equation. So this is usually wet through, but today we can get on it just because that calcium that we put on in the drainage in the bag is working. So what we'll do is today we're going to give it a light scarify, give it a cut, an overseed, and then that's it on this one. That'll do. We're not top dressing this one just because there's no need to. I was going to do, but because we had such good results with the feed, it's just overkill. So we'll just do some overseeding anyway, and we'll just see what happens. Because we've got the lawn there ready to come back through, that's giving it protection in itself. So this lawn should be good this year. And I think we'll just end up watering it as well. You know, we didn't water last year, so there's plenty of water in reserve from what we didn't use last year. So yeah, it's looking really nice. Let's get it scarified and then cut, and it should look really nice. So first things first, Ye Old Faithful, making its second appearance of the year. We're going to give this a light scarify, just a light one. We're not going to go to town. Because we did the good work a couple of years ago, we kind of eradicated the moss. We went on, like as we know, with the moss control and the weed killer a few weeks ago. So let's get it done and let's see how it looks. I'm really thinking it's going to look smart because the sun is just bang in the right position. So I've just got to decide now what stripe I'm going to do. What stripe do you think I'm going to do? Time to cast your votes and you'll find out in a sec. Alright, even though it was a light one, I have taken up quite a lot of stuff, so I'm not quite sure if the mower is going to be able to cope with this. So there's only one way to find out, and that is to get on and do it. I'll do a couple of stripes. If it's leaving too much behind, I'll have to get the rake out and start working on my bingo wings. Just before I start mowing, I just wanted to show you the difference between a treated lawn, which is that, and an untreated lawn. So you can see there's quite a lot of cushion mosses, a lot of thatch on this because it's a fescue lawn. We're going to get the thatch, which creates a waterproof membrane, if you like, and then you get the cushion mosses growing. So that's why when you get a fescue lawn, you have to scarify all the time to stop that happening, because you'll get the cushion mosses. Also, with wanting to cut short as well, the kind of mentality is that if you've got a fescue lawn, it's to be cut short. Scalping it again increases the risk of the cushion mosses. So all in all, always better with a coarser grass. In my case, on most of my lawns it's rye. On here, it's just what was laid many years ago, like 40 years ago when the houses were built. And obviously over time weed grasses have just grown. But we can get a nice lawn. Yeah, it's not a showstopper, it's not going to win competitions, but you can win any lawn around. Okay, so that was okay, but it's not picked up as well as I'd like. So what I'll do is, I've got to get the sterling out anyway to cut that lawn there. So what we'll do is we'll swap the cylinder cartridge over for the scarifying cartridge, and we'll just go over that and pick up the last of it. You could have said, well, why didn't you go on straight away with the sterling? because the amount that was there, it would have just filled the bag like after one stripe. So it's better picking it up with the rotary first, because you can create suction with that and drive it into the back of the bag, remove the excess, and then let's get over with the sterling. Yeah, it's going on again, so it might do a little bit more damage, but it's early in the season, so we've got time for that damage to recover, should we get any. Whereas if it was back end and we know we've not got that recovery time like in the future to give us back, then we wouldn't do that. We just go on it once. We'd just probably time it a little bit better, or just decide what we're going to do and bear that in mind. Change of plan. Couldn't access my scarifying attachment because I've got a lot of stuff in the back. But what I came across first was this brush attachment, which I forgot I had. So let's give this a go and see if it's any good for picking up scarifyings. Alright, so I've done 2 of these, took 2 off. It's really good, the brush attachment, because it doesn't actually pull the grass up like the scarifying attachment does. So it literally just brushes the surface, and it's picked up twigs and leaves and everything else that was stuck below without actually touching the kind of soil level, if you like. So yeah, all good. So what we're going to do now is just have a quick look of how it looks. So it's nice and groomed. Now for March 19th, I think that looks really good. So we'll just give it a little slight overseed now, nothing major. It's got plenty of feed on there from the applications that we've done since the turn of the year. And then beginning of April, we'll get on with some equilibrium. And then that's it. So you can kind of turn an ugly lawn into a nice lawn by just doing a little bit of work. And I've not really got out of breath doing it. So it can be done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go down, cut this side. We've not cut that this time. And we're going to scarify and top dress and overseed the little side where I did the weed removal grass the other week. So looking forward to that. So let's crack on. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just going over with the seed that I had left over from the other side. I've kind of done this bit backwards, but I filmed this later on in the day. All right, so this side is also looking fantastic in the sun. Really feel like spring is on its way. We've got the blue sky, the lovely white clouds, not black for a change because we've had a lot of those recently. So this lawn this year has only had what we did to it at the turn of the year again. I think we just went on with some Dan's Winter Magic, and everything that we did last year as well is just coming into its own now because there's plenty went on and the temperatures haven't been there. So now that they're here, it's just picking up that excess feed that is on there and it looks stunning. So let's get it cut with the rotary first as normal because it is quite long because it's not been cut for about 3 weeks. And then we'll go on with a cylinder and then we'll concentrate on this lawn. Okay, looking great. That's the rotary cut done. What we'll do now is we'll get that cylinder mower back in the cartridge because we took it out for the brush. And remember, you've always got to turn the dial back to what you want. Don't forget, because I'll end up scalping all that off if I do. So must do that, put it on the to-do list. Oh yes, so if we just have a look at the rotary cut and then the cylinder cut, you can totally see the difference. Now what I'm thinking is it too early for a Brittany moment? What do you reckon? I think we'll have to keep it in because if we do a Brittany moment now, that means when we hit the proper heights in the summer, we're not really going to give ourselves anywhere to go. So let's just give ourselves a pat on the back for getting through the winter and the lawn looking like this, and just imagine what it's going to look like. And maybe this year we can get it looking like we did 7 years ago in July when it looked like this. My most favourite lawn in the whole world. That day was just, I was nearly in tears because it just looked even better in real life. It really did. Sometimes the pictures don't do it justice, and sometimes they do, but the pictures did do it justice that day. But there was, to the eye, it just looked like it had landed from Mars and shouldn't be here. It was like from another planet, and it was just glistening, and it was just epic. But I can't believe it was 7 years ago. So yeah, so let's get on with this side now. Remember we did the weed grasses a few weeks ago. Did one there, so that's bedded in well now. I've done such a good job with that. I can't remember where the holes were. I think I did 2, and then we put them over there. So what we'll do is just leave that in. Just leave it in, it's out of the way. What we're trying to do is just make this side look better this year. Like we said, we had a big leather jacket problem about 6 years ago, and it just killed this entire area, and we've just never been able to get it back for some reason. It just got overtook with moss and stuff, so it's just a case of keeping on top of it. Last year we didn't really do much with it until the back end when we started doing that. But yeah, look at that from here. Beautiful. Again, it doesn't look like it should be here, especially at this time of year. So yeah, just look at what you could achieve. And again, all I did was what you saw me do. I've not done anything else. So yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what we're going to look forward to. So there is a pot with some curry in it. That is my diet at the moment. I've turned over a new leaf since the new year. I'm now on the Huel diet. So that is my lunch, which is a madras. Okay, so first job we need to do today on this side, hater, scalp, get it all away, bing bag it up, and let's see what's left. Alright, so that's the scalping done. I did 2 first, and then I went over on 1 when I went the other way, and it's done such a good job. I'm not even going to bother going on with the cylinder. Just going to get on with the scarifier and then get it raked up, because I think there's going to be too much comes up to go on with the mower again. But we might have to go on with the mower again after, just to pick up anything that I leave behind. Or we'll maybe get the brush out again and try that, see how it works on a proper scarified lawn. So yeah, so let's get on with it, because time's pressing. It's getting on for 1:30 and I want to be done before dark. Wow. 3 passes. Look at what we took up. Looks amazing. Smells absolutely amazing. Smells like earth, roots, grass, everything mixed together. Really is that spring smell. And I think really is just round the corner. So we'll just have a look at an area where we can see the grooves quite clearly. So you can see we've got through all the moss, and we've got, well, I'll start again because I don't think I was filming then. We've got through all the moss, so we've got all these grooves there. So we're down to the soil level, which is great, which is where you want to be. So what we'll do is now we'll get the rake and get majority of this up, and then we'll take it from there, because what we don't want to do is, because we're seeding now, we don't want to close these grooves up by going over with a heavy roller. So jury's out as to what we're going to do. We've got a few options. We could go over with a heavy roller after, with the Rotary, pick everything up, it'll close it up, and then what we could do is get the vertical to the attachment out on the sterling, and that'd kind of reopen them up. Or we could rake this up and then blow it off, and then that will give us a clean surface with still the grooves open. So that's probably my more viable option, but it's where do we blow it to. So anyway, let's crack on. All right, so it's that time of year again where we're getting the rake out. Remember, I use a flat rake because we're getting 100% surface touch all the time, whereas if you use a fan one, you're only getting the 100% touch if you're raking like that, which you don't want of them. You rake like that, so as it's curved, you're not actually making contact with these over here. They're about 12 quid these from B&Q, so a really good, cheap investment. And not only are you raking up the thatch that's just come out, you're raking up any moss that might still be in the ground. So what we'll do is, I'll crack on with this, and then we'll see you when I'm done, when we're about to decide if we're going to blow it off or get on with the mower. Alright, so that's the raking done. So there's still a little bit of stuff knocking about, but the ground is really open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the second thing that I discussed, and that is getting the blower out. And I'll blow it all down there, and I'll blow it up there, and I can blow it onto the border there and over there and pick it up. Either just leave it in the border to rot down or whatever. Out of sight, out of mind over there, isn't it? Okay, so that's the blowing done. Left the soil all nicely crisscross so the seed can fall in there. Now I have got a new tool at home which I bought off eBay, which I'll show you another time. I didn't bring it today because I didn't think I'd need it, but could have done really, just where there's some like big worm cast squashed. But it's alright, we'll show you next time and we'll just do this here. Now, I know I'm seeding today, but if you've got lawn which is like more soil than grass at the moment, or you haven't got an existing lawn to come back through, just hold off. I'm only doing the seeding on these lawns because there's already an existing lawn here, and that'll come through by the time the seed germinates. So we're not relying on the seed to give us our base lawn. So hold off for a couple more weeks. Like when I start doing this side, we're only going to be overseeding this side, and when I start doing Farmer Britain's best lawn, then we can start. Well, that'll be like after Easter, because I've got a video coming there, but I just want to give them a lawn for Easter because they've not had one for a few years, with me digging it up and with all the weed grasses, and that's a Farmer Britain's best lawn. So we're looking forward to that. So I've got a video lined up for Easter for that, so I've been doing some work for you there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the seed on. Now the other side I'm going to stay true with Premier Pitch, but this side I'm not really that bothered about what we use, so I'm just going to put my extreme down. Because it'll look the same, you know, perennial ryegrass, be a bit finer, but I'm not worrying about it. I don't have the Premier Pitch in, and I've only got one bag, and half will go at Britain's best lawn, half will go on the other side. So we'll just go with extreme, and it'll be good to see the difference if there is any. Maybe there won't be any visual, like what you can't see really. So yeah, so let's get on with that, and I've got a new tip for you as well. So looking forward to sharing that with you. Right, there's my seed in the hopper, 32, because that will come out just nice. If it's fertiliser, obviously that'll just come out way too fast, but seed 32 is a good number. Because the seed's so big and the hole where it comes out of is so small, it needs that hole, the biggest it can be, and that's number 32 on this spreader. Alright, so I know you've been eagerly anticipating this new tip that I've got. Well, the new H2Go that we've been on since around about May last year, which is like water, that's all the way from America, and it's also designed not only as a wetting agent, but it also softens the seed coat, they call it over there, which is like the husk. So you get quicker germination because water can get in quicker. So what we're going to do is, the new tip is that once we put the seed down, we're going to go on with our H2Go at half rate. So we're just putting out half rate, so we've got half left over to go over on top of the compost afterwards. So we're using the same amount, but we're just splitting it in two. There's no harm in putting the full amount on the seed if you wanted to, and then full amount again, but it just costs really. So we're just going to do half then and half after the compost. So the compost gets wet easily as well, and I think even though we've had a great day today, there's plenty of rain due this week, which is perfect. So let's get this on now because time's pressing and that wind's just beginning to pick back up. Okay, so that's the seed on, half rate wetting agent on. Remember, you're putting the same amount of wetting agent in the tank, but you've got to double up on your water, so you've got enough to do it twice, and that'll give you your half rate. Alright, so the wetting agent's on, seed's on, time now to get on with the top dressing. I really feel like we're getting somewhere now. So we've got a field compost number 4, totally peat free,
totally organic, made from green waste, like where it's all filtered, and all the compost that's been created over the years that it's been rotting down is then sieved out, and all that we're left with is a bag of really fine peat-free topsoil. So look at that, lovely. So wind's just picked up. So what we do is we get our screw fix rake. I believe they've gone up in price quite a lot since I bought mine. So I did well there, but I've still not decided whether I'm going to chop it down a little bit. I think for this kind of work it's the perfect size because it's really light material that we're pushing along. So we just rake it about. You can use the back side or the front side. Either way, I think if you do that way you leave a lot more behind, whereas if you use like the screeding bit you can make it go further. So if you only got a bit and you need it to go a lot further than normal, you can just use that side and go a bit further, or if you want to leave a bit more behind you can just go like that. What I tend to do is spread it out with the rake, and then just to finish off just go like that, just to get rid of any bumps that are left behind. And don't worry about moving the soil around too much, you're not going to disturb the seed. What I actually meant to say there was, don't worry about disturbing the seed by moving the soil around, because it doesn't happen. Yeah, it might move a little bit, but I think my results over the years show you that it's pretty safe just to be quite aggressive if you want to be. As soon as the seed falls in those grooves created by the scarifier, it ain't going anywhere. Don't worry if you get any on the flags or whatever, you can just sweep that up or blow it back on, whatever you want. I can only, Lee Mason, the referee, when he used to mentor me, he used to say, I can't tell you what to do, I can only advise you. And that's all I'm doing, just advising you. But that leads us on to a story that I said I'd share with you. I've just not had time to speak to you like this, just because we've not been doing anything like this where it's warranted me talking rubbish. But yeah, so 2006, Howard Webb, when I was refereeing, he came to our referee society, Bolton Referee Society, which was held at Tongmoor Conservative Club once a month. We used to have like a few guests. Alan Wilkie came once, Alan Wiley, I think I told you, and we used to go out for a meal to Tiggy's in Bolton Town Centre. Well, me, Lee, and a referee called Darren Hanley. He's now a Football League referee, I think. And we used to go, and then we go for a meal. So yeah, so he was all right, Howard Webb, no problem, nice guy. So because Lee being Lee thought it'd be funny, he said I can do the closing speech when he'd done his speech at or his presentation or whatever he was doing, because he was quite a newbie then and he was quite good and he was just got on the FIFA list. So Lee said, right, well Daniel, would you like to do the closing speech? And I was like, where's this suddenly come from? So I've not got anything prepared whatsoever. So it was literally, I'd have to come up with something. But the night before, I think this was on a Thursday, because the meetings were on a Thursday, and the night before Howard Webb had refereed at Tottenham v Blackburn. I think it was at Spurs, and he missed a blatant handball by Robbie Keane, I think. And Robbie Keane had more or less punched it into the goal, and he missed it, and he gave the goal, and everyone was up in arms. So I thought, right, well, I'll use this in my speech, me being me. It was all around the Specsavers advert time when that first came out. So I said, yeah, thanks for coming, Howard. Congratulations on the new Specsavers sponsorship deal. And he was looking around going like, what? I haven't got a deal with Specsavers. And I went, because after that mistake last night, you should have gone to Specsavers. And obviously the room burst into laughter, but it was like, I can't believe it if he's just said that about Howard Webb. But he took it how it was meant, really funny. So that's the story. So if you ever bump into him, just say, do you remember when Danny said you should have gone to Specsavers after that decision? But that's what I do. I just like to play like the Larry David type of character in real life, but in England. So I'm quite outspoken. So I don't mind ruffling a few feathers. You know, it could have gone bad. It could have gone, could have been thingy like kicked out. But no, shook my hand as we were going, and he gave me a load of free stuff as well. So yeah, so a good story there to be told. Hopefully it was worth waiting for. If it wasn't, I apologise, but I'll try and think of some more stories. I've already told you me playing football with Michael Salisbury on the beach in Newquay at 2 a.m. And did I tell you, I don't know if I told you, but I remember I tried to do an overhead kick or a scissor kick, and I landed on the sand and it killed because I was a bit inebriated. I didn't really feel it. The next day I was like, oh, my hip, why is my hip so sore? And I was like, oh yeah, because I tried to do a scissor kick last night and I landed on the sand, and it's really hard, wet sand, as you'll probably know. So yeah, so there you go. So I'll carry on doing this and I'll leave you to watch me doing it, and then we'll see you just as I'm about to put the wetting agent on to cover the compost. Alright, so that's the top dressing done. We don't need to feed the lawn because we're going to get a nice kick of fertiliser, natural fertiliser from this field compost number 4. And if you didn't hear me before, I've got a 10% off code for that, DHLE10, and that's to be used at Field Compost website, direct from them. So feel free to use it. It's free to use, so why wouldn't you? Now, what we're going to do now is I'm going to put that second half of my wetting agent on so that the wetting agent wets that top dressing, because what happens is, as I've touched on before, when you've got a natural product like that's been broken down by bacteria, it leaves behind a waxy coating on everything, and that's why when you've got compost in your pots and you go to water them and the water runs off, that's because you've got this waxy lipid that it leaves behind, kind of like a byproduct of doing what it does. So the wetting agent goes on and it coats that, so it allows water to bead off it and go through. So that's why we do that. So let's get on with it. Alright, that's this video done. Hopefully you've learned something and you found it more exciting than the game at Old Trafford yesterday. We want to see a 4-3 every week when you can be watching me. So, hopefully you've learned something. We've scarified, we've top dressed, we've overseeded, we've done lots of things. For those of you who say, I never look after anything old, then you're talking rubbish, because I do. We're doing this one, we've done the triangle, we've also looked after this great one here. So join us next time when we'll be doing something else lawn related here on Daniel Hibbert Lawn Expert. Bye for now. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 40,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can help me out with that, that'd be great, and I'll sort you out on the website with a nice discount code. So see you soon.